Support for today's Heat Treat Radio episode is provided by SECO WARWICK Group. Count on SECO WARWICK Group for the best technology for your thermal processing applications. And welcome to Heat Treat Radio. Whether you're listening to us or tuning in via video on heattreattoday.com/radio, we're glad to have you. Today, we get to hear from the three managing directors leading the heat treat and metallurgical solution front at SECO WARWICK's North American companies. Earl Good at Retech, Marcus Lord at SECO WARWICK, and Peter Zawistowski at SECO Vacuum join Doug Glenn, host of this podcast and Heat Treat Today founder and publisher, to talk about what each of these three companies uniquely offer to the North American heat treat and metallurgical markets. Let's take a listen.
Well, welcome everyone back for another special episode of Heat Treat Radio. I've got the great privilege today of talking with the three managing directors from the SECO WARWICK organization. So gentlemen, first off, welcome. I'm going to introduce each of you briefly and then ask you to also tell our audience a little bit about yourselves. So I want to start with Peter Zawistowski, who is the managing director of SECO Vacuum Technologies, actually one of the newer companies of the SECO WARWICK Group. So Peter is here, SECO Vacuum Technologies. Then we have Marcus Lord, who is the managing director of SECO WARWICK Corporation, which is in both of those two companies are currently located in Meadville, Pennsylvania, Western Pennsylvania. And then Earl Good, who is the managing director of Retech Systems, located up in the Buffalo area. So gentlemen, first off, welcome. Glad to have you here. And Earl, if you don't mind, I'm going to start with you and work backwards and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sounds good. All right. I've been with Retech. It'll be 6 years in April. Time has flown by fast. There have been certainly some interesting developments with Retech over the years. We relocated the business from Ukiah, California into Buffalo, New York. We originally had an office in Main Street in Williamsville in 2018. And then we found a new facility here that allows us to do manufacturing and assembly as well as office space. We have about 40,000 feet for manufacturing and assembly, 10,000 square foot office space, and we're actually looking for additional space because of the growth and development we've experienced over the last few years. So when I came into Retech, there were some issues, some challenges that the company was facing. We've overcome those, and we've certainly moved in a good direction. And then prior to Retech, I was with Metso Minerals. I worked with Metso Minerals for about 13 years. I was moved through various positions there. My last position for the last 7 years was the vice president of ETO, which was the engineered to order group. I was responsible for 4 different divisions on a global basis and increased that business from about 150 million euros to about 250 million euros a year. And it became the second most profitable division within Metso. And this opportunity came along and it was a different challenge, something different at the time. And that's what piqued my interest here.
Great. Very good. Thank you. And we're going to come back. The next question will be, tell us a little bit about the business and the markets that you're in and things of that sort. So we'll come back to each of you on this. But Marcus, I want to jump over to you. By the way, I should just mention, Earl is in Buffalo. Marcus is in Florida because somebody had to go, right? I mean, somebody had to be there.
Somebody did. They had to go. So,
all right. So Marcus, managing director of SECO WARWICK, tell us just briefly about yourself and background.
I've been with SECO for 9 months now, came on board at the end of June, basically looking at reestablishing the SECO WARWICK footprint in Meadville with doing manufacturing. So that's a work in process right now, and I guess rebuilding the team. So we have a considerable amount of folks that are looking at retirement and trying to pass on some of that legacy knowledge to some new people to spur additional growth of the business. Prior to SECO, I worked for Carpenter Technologies for 3 years, metal manufacturing for specialty alloys. Prior to that, I did 2 greenfields, one for Oerlikon Metco and one for Wyman Gordon PCC company. And both of those were powder atomization materials. So a lot of end use more so than actually manufacturing of the equipment. So that's that's basically my background.
That gives you a good foothold though in understanding what people want from equipment. So that's great.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. All right. And then last but not least, Peter Zawistowski. What about you? You're in Meadville right now too, I think.
I'm in Meadville right now, correct. It's hard to say for how long I am with SECO WARWICK. I believe like 20 years officially, but to be honest, since I remember, I was around vacuum furnaces. So there is a joke that I was born inside a SECO vacuum furnace. So that's how long I was with the company. And I went through like several different positions. I was a field service engineer. I was in engineering, in sales. Currently, I am managing SECO Vacuum here in the US, and we are responsible for our vacuum furnaces for North America, which is US, Canada, and Mexico. I am in the US for 11 years already, so the time is running, and yeah, that's all about myself.
Perfect. Yeah. And for those who don't know, I think most people would know this, but maybe some don't. The global headquarters for the SECO group is in Poland. Peter actually comes from there. You have relocated your family. You've been in the States now for how long?
For quite some time. I think it's 10 and a half years or 11. So quite some time already.
Yeah. So Peter's kind of the link, if you will, not the only link, but on this interview, you're the link back to Poland, which we will talk about just briefly. Okay, so guys, second question here. Don't want you to go into necessarily new technologies, okay, because we're going to deal with that separately. But for those who might not know, can you just briefly give a snapshot of the markets that you serve and the products that you supply, just so they know? And then why don't we do this? Peter, we'll start with you, back to Marcus, and then Earl will end with you on this one. So basically markets and products.
From the product perspective, it's 50% of our products are single chamber furnaces, standard from 2 bar up to 25 high pressure gas quench furnaces, moly, graphite. So this is 50%. And then the next would be vacuum oil quench furnaces, which we have developed a new design of those furnaces, I believe like 15 or 20 years ago. And this is when I think we are leading the market. I believe the competition is like 5 to 10 years behind us in this product. Then we have a lot of new development or the new products like PTLPC, like 4D quench, which is like a single piece quenching. And we are always looking for some custom projects. We like those. We are not afraid of those, and we can do them.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, you're basically, the SECO Vacuum Technologies is dealing primarily with vacuum heat treat furnaces.
Vacuum heat treat furnaces,
and,
correct.
And all things around that, including any type of specials, customs, and things of that sort. But that's where your strengths are. Okay. So Marcus, how about SECO WARWICK Corp?
Well, SECO Corp, they have a pretty big portfolio of equipment. So, I mean, right now, I know a major view is on cab lines. We're seeing a lot of inquiries on the continuous or controlled aluminum brazing process. Also, aluminum processing equipment for annealing large coils of aluminum or sheet and foil type aluminum. And then back to some of the roots is atmospheric type furnaces. So roller hearths, mesh belt, things of those sort. And those are basically customized to the customer's preference. So we have a huge catalog. And as of late, we've sold some actual aluminum melting type furnaces. So large tilt melting furnaces.
Yeah, reverb type furnaces. Okay. Yeah, that's good. So, okay, Earl, let's go to you then. Last one.
Last but not least.
Yeah, not least.
We supply vacuum melting equipment, basically melting of metals and alloys that are very high temperature melting. Our typical industries or markets are aerospace, medical, defense, and also energy storage. Our primary furnace types, and it varies, the electron beam furnace, a PAM furnace, a VIM, which is vacuum induction melting, and a VAR, We also have powder atomization technology, and then we have our melt spinner technology. But one area that I think is also a growing area for us is our R&D and toll melting, because we have a couple different furnaces we can operate. You have a lot of customers now who don't have the needs for an excessive amount of material, and they don't want to purchase a furnace, so they come to us asking us to melt for them a certain amount of material over the course of a month or a year. So, you know, we have a broad base of technologies that we can offer the market, which is good, because some of the aerospace work can be cyclical in nature, but the other furnaces and other options that we have make up for that.
Yeah. Okay. So Peter, we're talking vacuum heat treat. Marcus, we're talking primarily non-vacuum, let's say heat treat and aluminum, as well as controlled atmosphere brazing. And then Earl, you're talking about really what they call metallurgy, more the vacuum melting, that type of stuff.
Yes, mostly like titanium, nickel, various alloys associated with titanium and nickel.
Gotcha. Let's Earl, I'm gonna just follow up with you on it now, because just the next question for all of you though. You know, it's a broad brush. I mean, you guys all together, you're covering a lot of stuff, but even within your own companies, you can't always be the best at everything. I know you're going to say that you are, but that's okay. You can't always be the best at everything. Is there a technology in your specific company that you feel is really a strong suit, something you really feel comfortable doing? Not to say it's the only thing you do, but you really feel comfortable doing.
You know, I'm going to highlight two different technologies. I think our PAM technology or plasma melting technology is the best on the market. We have more installations of anybody out there, and all of our furnaces have basically satisfied their performance requirements. And then another area I'd like to just highlight is our powder technology. We've been a little bit behind some of our competitors in the market there, but we've really developed some good things that I think are going to provide opportunities for us in the market. And we have a number of customers coming to us to look at those opportunities now. So I think those are probably the two most unique or the best that we have to offer.
Okay, great. Peter, how about you guys? I know vacuum heat treating it's a broad brush, right? I mean, are there some specific things that you feel very, very good about as far as SECO Vacuum's presence?
Yeah, of course, our single chamber vacuum furnaces are, I think, one of the best in the world currently. But we also have some new products that right now we are trying to get to the market with them, especially our 4D quench system. So this is a special system to vacuum carburize and then quench the single piece quench. So this is the unit that right now we are putting some furnaces here in the US. We are getting good references and we are getting great results. So I think that will be, in my opinion, that will be the year of 4D quench for us. So this is one, and also we are focused on LPC in general. So most or all of our furnaces are equipped with LPC, which I think finally the industry is moving to vacuum carburizing, and I can tell about it more later on. But I think that's the big focus right now with SECO Vacuum.
Okay, great. You know, it's interesting you mentioned about the 4D quench, which I'm somewhat familiar with. I've talked with some other guys. They say, you know, we really ought to be called in many areas in the heat treat area. We ought to be focusing much more on quench than heating. Because to be quite honest, anybody can heat the thing up, but the real key is, can you quench it, especially when you're talking about surface hardening and things of that sort.
Exactly. And 4D quench, this is where we can control the distortions to the level close to press quenching. So that's the key to the success.
Yeah. Okay, good. Marcus, how about you? Technologies that you're very comfortable with, you feel like you've got a leg up on the competitors with?
I would say that our cab lines are probably the best in the world. Now, we have a lot of competitors that we're seeing pop up out of Asia, but I believe that we still hold the market share for that type of equipment. And again, it's much like many of our other pieces of equipment. It is customized based upon what the customer really is needing to achieve, along with production throughput. On other things from an atmospheric standpoint, I would say that with the big push to reduce carbon footprint of these manufacturers, that SECO still has the technology for their bayonet electric heating processes, and we're not held up by somebody else supplying us with that type of product. We can build that in-house and supply a very efficient furnace when it comes to electric heating. So that is a key for us.
Yeah, yeah. How about, I want to hit on a market specifically, and that's the aluminum market. But anything specifically there from SECO, Warwick?
From the aluminum market, I think a lot of it's being leveraged over from Poland, where we're starting to offer the Vortex 1 and the 2.0 as that's being developed. So that will be things that are options that we're going to introduce along with predictive maintenance programs that have been developed out of Poland, which we'll leverage over to some of our customers as well.
Okay, great. Okay, so now what I want to do next, guys, is ask you about new technologies, okay? Things that either are currently commercialized or soon to be that you feel good about. And then after that, just kind of give you guys a preview. After that, I want to ask you about cooperation between the companies and things of that sort, okay? So Peter, why don't we start with you on this? I want to talk about, and we can dig a little bit deeper here, okay? If you want to pick one or maybe two products that are quote unquote relatively new technologies that you want to discuss. So what do you think for vacuum technology?
So we have quite a bit of new technologies, but I think I will try to tell you more about LPC and what I think. So as I said, all our products are equipped with vacuum carburizing, and I think that this is where the industry is going right now. So with the current trend of limiting carbon footprint and sustainability, I know that in the US maybe it's not that common right now, but I'm sure you are aware that most of the big or all big European companies, they will have to report carbon footprint from 2024. So if any of the US company would like to do business with Europe, like with German automotive industry or Airbuses of the world, you will have to do the same. So to do that, you have to limit carbon footprint, and to do that, especially in carburizing, you have to switch technology. Right now, the most common carburizing technology is, or equipment is integral quench IQ furnaces, and you have to do something with it. So there is a need, and it will happen, that there will be a switch to low pressure carburizing, and this is where we can help. As I said, all our equipment is equipped with an option of LPC, and that's what we are focusing on right now.
Great. Yeah. It's interesting to me the influence of the whole carbon question has had on companies, and how far down that's trickling, if you will, the trickle down effect on that. So Earl, how about you as far as new technologies, things you're excited about?
Yeah, I think, we have a number of different things that we're looking at, and a lot of our furnaces are customized, and, through the R&D trials that we do and the toll melting, it helps us to develop new technologies as well. But two areas I want to highlight are small scale atomizer. We put some time or effort into developing a small scale atomizer that's more of like a lab type atomizer. I think the thing that's going to set ours apart is it's a little bit more robust than our competitors' units, and it has more capabilities than those units. So you can melt different materials on it. So we're very eager to get that out into the market and make our first sale. We think that we have a very good product there. And then the second one is our plasma gas atomizer. We do receive a lot of customer interest in this product right now. And the fact is that it's different than what's out in the market currently. A lot of the stuff that's on the market as far as powder and atomization is a batch process. The yields aren't great. And we believe the plasma gas atomizer will increase yields. It allows ongoing melting. And I think it's going to provide a lot of options to customers who have the need for a more robust process as far as their powder production. So we're really excited about both of those and getting those out into the market.
I'm going to take a stab at this, that first product that you were talking about, is a good bit of that driven by the AM market, 3D printing, or is that not the case?
It's driven by that, but you have a lot of customers and a lot of universities who want to do things on a smaller scale, more on the, I would say, the trial
Okay.
basis, and not invest a significant amount of money till they see the technology that they have is going to work, or the products that they're developing. So I think there's a real need for that. And I think there's a need for something more robust than what's out on the market. So
for prototyping and things of that sort, I guess.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
exactly.
All right, great. Thank you. Marcus, how about you? New technologies?
For new technologies, as you brought up once before on the aluminum processing, is definitely the Vortex 2.0. So I do believe there's 3 of the systems that were sold recently and have not been fully commissioned at this time. But I think this is really going to give us an upper hand on how we go about heating our materials on an efficiency standpoint, especially when we're looking at, and again, we keep bringing up the carbon footprint and how we're going about processing our materials. So it is very, very key as far as that is concerned. Outside of that, I mean, we have some technologies that have been out into the market that we now offer in our equipment, but those are basically on a customer preference more so than something that is going to be a staple or a standard on all of our equipment.
When we return, we'll hear from Earl, Marcus, and Peter about what they think makes it possible for all 3 companies to operate with synergy, and how the leadership and North American initiatives work given the European home base. But first, a word from our sponsor. Since the early 1990s, SECO WARWICK Group has been creating new technologies and growing around the world. While the company is always thinking globally, it is also acting locally. In North America, the group is a fusion of 3 brands: SECO WARWICK USA, SECO Vacuum, and Retech. Founded in 1984, SECO WARWICK USA focuses on 2 thermal disciplines: aluminum melting, heat treating, and brazing technologies on the one hand, and atmosphere heat treatment systems on the other. The division also supports an installed base with comprehensive aftermarket services. Started in Meadville, Pennsylvania in 2017, SECO Vacuum has grown into an industry leader, offering breakthrough vacuum heat treating technologies designed to integrate with the factory of the future. All feature environmentally friendly operations with 0 CO2 emissions. Since its beginning in 1963, Retech has become an established leader in vacuum metallurgical technologies for specialty steels, non-reactive, and refractory materials. Retech manufactures and tests all of its furnaces in its Buffalo, New York plant for customers all over the world. Count on SECO WARWICK Group for the best technology for your thermal processing applications. Now, back to the episode.
When you're talking about heat treating, thermal processing technologies companies around the globe, okay, broadly speaking, there are very few, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I can think of probably less than 5, who have the breadth of capabilities from everything from atomizing, vacuum arc melting, heat treating, vacuum heat treating, air atmosphere heat treating. You guys have you're painting with a pretty broad brush here, right? I think and that technology probably has some synergies in the sense that all of you can work together and you kind of know what the other guys are doing somewhat. So having said that, you 3 seem to get along pretty well. So how do you cooperate? I guess my question is, how do you cooperate? Do you find it beneficial? Is it helpful that you've got the 3 separate companies working together? Earl, why don't we go to you on that? Tell us about how they work together.
I think, in my opinion, we haven't worked great in the past during my previous years here. I think we have the opportunity, the group of us does get along, as you pointed out. I think we have the opportunity to work together much more as we move forward. And we've started to do that with some different areas. We're looking for a facility right now to spread out our US footprint as far as manufacturing and assembly. I think it'll be a facility that's shared and where we all do work there. But I think, we do have the opportunity. Each of us brings a different set of skills and talents to the industry. And I think we have the opportunity to leverage some of those to the benefit of the whole. And I think, you know, you have a lot of customers right now are looking for products made in the US who are US customers. And I think, you know, we're going to be in a good position to service that market. And I think all of us are in positions where we've seen our businesses start to grow and improve. So I think it gives us a great opportunity as we move forward to work together.
It's good. It's good. So Marcus, you're relatively a newcomer. You're not exactly, you know, brand spanking new or anything, but you're the newcomer between the three of them. How do you see the three companies working together? Has it been beneficial?
I think at this point in time, I mean, really, it is beneficial because it, with the collaboration between all three of us and our different businesses, we're able to support one another, especially from a technology aspect, or if there are questions, you have an outreach program that we're really open to work with each other. So I think that is key. And also, like Earl said, you know, we're all looking to expand. And for SECO Corp, we're looking at doing an expansion and still retain the offices in Meadville, but also look for another location to be able just to give us a little bit more bandwidth. But that's still to be seen. And also we're seeing heavy, for my group, we're looking at a lot of operations happening in Mexico. So I think that's something that we really need to look at from a supportive aspect. But us being three businesses relatively close to one another, I think it's overall beneficial for all of us.
Yeah. Peter, you concur?
Oh yeah, for sure. And then it's not only beneficial for us, but I think it's beneficial for our customers because I will give you an example. We have a project right now that Earl is offering a furnace, and my equipment is like auxiliary equipment to his. So we can offer that full package to the customer, and we have expertise, you know, across the three companies that we can pretty much support and provide all what is needed to the customers. I think that's a big benefit as well.
Yeah. So a couple of you mentioned this earlier, and I want to just kind of expand on this right now. Who would like to take the question about manufacturing in the U.S.? And how it's been in the past and what the future plans are? You guys can fight over that one.
I can throw a couple comments out at that. I mean, our past manufacturing in the U.S. was done out in Ukiah for Retech specifically. And Ukiah is a great place for wineries and vineyards, but maybe not an industrial furnace manufacturer, to be honest. So originally, you know, there was a desire for us to leave all manufacturing and assembly in the United States by the past CEO. And then we found this facility here in Buffalo, and the new CEO, Slavomir Bosniak, said, hey, could you guys do some manufacturing and assembly here? And I said, yeah, I think my chin hit the floor. I was drooling because I thought it was exactly what we needed. And, you know, we have the 40,000 square foot facility here. We filled it up already. And I think, you know, we have a customer base that's looking to have more manufactured and assembled here in the U.S. And I think the benefit of having additional manufacturing and assembly with what we have in within Retech, within Poland, within some of the other areas, China and India, I think it gives us a way to support all of our customers' needs, because you have some customers looking for low price options. You have some that, you know, as I said, want things built here in the U.S. as we become maybe less globalized and more centralized as far as focus. So I think we're going to be able to support all those different needs for our customers and do it well.
Yeah. Peter, how about you? Because I know there's been discussion in the market regarding manufacturing of vacuum furnaces and things of that sort. Care to comment?
We are looking to start to manufacture, assemble vacuum furnaces here in the US. And as Earl said before, we had our facility in Ukiah, we had our facility in Meadville. So we had like 2 or 3 companies in the US, and we're doing it in different places. Right now, we would like to consolidate and just use, leverage the fact that we have 3 companies here in the US. And it's not only about manufacturing. We also are thinking about bringing some R&D activities here to the US, because I think that more often right now we sell technology, not the furnace. So we would like to be able to provide that service to our customers as well here in the US.
Yeah. And Marcus, how about you as far as the manufacturing.
Yeah, so manufacturing, that was part of the deal of me coming on to SECO, is really to reestablish what was being done. Whether or not it makes sense to do full-blown manufacturing, because that's a huge capital expense up front. And then, of course, training people to actually be able to do the processes. It makes more sense for us to actually do sub-assemblies or manufacturing of maybe smaller, at a smaller part of what we're looking at as far as the equipment, and being very specialized on what we do manufacture, and leave the larger projects either internally or external. As you said, we can't be really good at everything we do, so we'll pick and choose what we're really good at and just exploit it from that point and then grow.
All right. When we talk, thanks. That's good, Mark. Appreciate that. When we talk about manufacturing, the one thing, and again, you guys have mentioned a little bit. One thing I think about is supply chain. It's there's been obviously major supply chain disruptions over the last couple of years. Can you address supply chain issues generally speaking for each of your businesses? Are you seeing any difficulties, and how much is this whole move to want to manufacture, maybe consolidate some manufacturing in the U.S. driven by the threat of supply chain issues?
Well,
Pete, yeah, Marcus, go ahead, please.
Seeing that you were just on with that, that is part of the directive, right? Is to try to be able to control our supply chain, also have a better control of when we're able to deliver equipment. That's key for most of the customers that put in the orders. Yeah. They want lead time, more so than price. They want lead time. Yeah. Where we're seeing the impact for our pieces of equipment are definitively PLC systems. Outside of that, we don't see much of a disruption, maybe with some high nickel product that we use in our bayonet heaters. Outside of that, it's restricted to those two items.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're not having a lot of supply chain issues at this point.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Peter or Earl, how about you? Supply chain?
Yeah, supply chain. I think we can see it's getting better, but it's not only supply chain. It's only like a transport cost and time. So when right now we would like to ship the equipment, from overseas, it's twice as much money and twice as much time, and that's also another problem that we would like to address.
Yeah. Earl?
I think the supply chain varies. What's kind of unusual in the market right now is, you have a project where part of the supply chain works well, the other part maybe not so well, and the next project it's just the exact opposite. So the feedback I get from a lot of the suppliers and even some of our customers is that they still have a difficult time finding people, and when you don't have the people, it's hard to deliver. But generally things are improving, and hopefully they continue to go in that direction. And the electronic PLC control type technology, that's where we see the biggest delays, as Marcus has indicated. And that's an area that is not showing signs of getting better right now, but I think as some of these chip manufacturing facilities come online, you'll see a big improvement there.
So we're talking about how the three companies work together and things of that sort. So Peter, I want to direct this question directly to you, and that is about the upper management in Poland and their support of the North American marketplace. How would you categorize their vision and their support of what's going on here?
Yeah, so the expansion in North America is one of the primary goals on the group level right now. So all of us, we are getting a lot of support from the group management, and this is kind of the way the philosophy of the company. So we have companies in India, we have companies in China, in the US, and that's why we have companies on local markets, because they understand that market the best. So that autonomy, in my opinion, is very important. And
you characterize the presence in Europe as being supportive, but not micromanaging, right? They're giving you freedom, giving you some goals to hit, and say, go ahead, boys.
Yeah, there is a direction we all follow, but yes, we have a lot of freedom and autonomy in the US.
Yeah. Earl, anything to add to that, or Marcus, either as far as upper management support?
I think the support's been great. I think, we are given a lot of flexibility as far as, how we go about our business and operating it. And I think there's definitely a desire to see us grow in the US. And, I think they'll give us the tools and the technology, the ability to do so. And I think there is a tremendous opportunity for all of us to, grow in the US.
Right. Marcus, a hard question for you, maybe. Okay, just not that it's harder for you than anybody else, but I'm just going to throw a hard question at you. Some people in North America will say that it's going to be very difficult for SECO Warwick, whether any one of these three companies, not just SECO Warwick Corp, but SECO Vacuum or Retech, to survive in the North American market because they have a global headquarters in Europe or outside the United States. What do you say to people that would say that?
I would definitely tell them that's untrue. So this is actually the second company I've worked with that or for that has most of their operations in Europe, be it Poland or Germany. So those were the two. Both of the companies to me have been very, very successful at basically going out and giving their footprint in the industry and the marketplace, and actually giving a piece of equipment or equipments, depending on the technologies, that is far superior than what our competitors have. So as far as being able to go into North America, yeah, there's directives, there's things you have to follow. That's with all corporations. And at that point, they might want others to believe that by saying that we won't be successful because we're European driven. That's very untrue, because as Peter had said, we have a lot of autonomy to run the business. We have objectives. We have KPIs that we have to hit. There's also the major idealism is to be profitable and have quality product. So with those, it's easy to drive a business to be successful. Doesn't matter where it's managed from.
Yeah. Peter or Earl?
Maybe I will add to it. So my main competitor in vacuum heat treating has a headquarters in Germany, and nobody seems to care. So, so it's I think it's normal.
Yeah.
So we have a big presence here in the US, and that's all the better. So,
Yeah.
I think I would add that our competitors try to push that, our headquarters is in Poland, and maybe their products aren't as good, but I'm a firm believer that if you deliver a good product, you deliver it on time, and you start it up and it starts up well, and you take care of your customer, it doesn't matter where your headquarters is. The customers are going to find you. They're going to enjoy the experience. They're going to come back to you. And we're seeing a lot of our customers come back to us for additional equipment and stuff. So I think, our competitors can push that all they want, but the reality of it is if you deliver on your customers' needs, you're going to have success.
Good. All right. Two more quick questions. All right. I don't know how quick the answers will be, but two more quick questions. Earl, we'll start with you, then go to Marcus, then Peter on this one. So the future of your specific company in North America. What are you optimistic about?
That's a broad-based question, but we had a very good year in 2022. I think we're headed to a very good year in 2023, and our focus is on continuing to grow, continuing to develop products for the market that the market needs and wants. And I think we have some good things that we're working on in R&D. So I'm very optimistic about our future and about the direction that we're headed. I think that we're on the right path and doing a lot of the right things. Good.
Marcus, how about you on SECO Warwick Corp?
With Corp, I mean, we closed the year out with a very large sale. So that's continuing into 2023, where we have a growing backlog, which is good because that's just showing that we're continuing to service the industry and also giving quality equipment. So I don't foresee that diminishing at all. I just see that actually growing as we support one another. That's the best way to continue on our paths. That's for sure.
Great. Peter, how about you?
Yeah, so to continue to grow, and I see a big opportunity for us in the US. And SECO Vacuum is fairly young company, so it's 5.5 years already, and I think we would like to, and we will get more market share by having satisfied customers.
Yeah, great. What is it personally to you that is most exciting about what you're doing in the market right now? I'm not looking necessarily for a sales pitch on the company and things of that sort. And maybe you don't have anything you enjoy. In that case, you just say, you know what, this is a boring job. I don't really have anything to say here. But what is it personally for you that you enjoy? What gets you excited to get you up for work every day? Marcus, if you don't mind, we'll start with you, and then Earl and Peter.
For me, what makes me excited, I guess I'm a workaholic. So that it really helps. I mean, because I'm on vacation right now. So here I am,
Yeah.
I'm working, I've been doing emails. I mean, that's just part of the business, right?
Yeah.
But for me, it's really, I guess, putting the bridges back in place that should have always been there, that deteriorated just through the history of SECO Corp along with SWSA, and really growing the label, because all I've heard is negativity. And what that negativity does to me is it actually drives me to make the business better. And really, that's it. It's more personal than it is for a corporate thing, because I like proving people wrong. So I mean, that's what drives me. That's what drives me.
Yeah, you don't think I can do this? I just sit back and watch. Okay.
just watch.
That sounds good. Earl, how about you? What's energizing?
You know, I think the energy comes from the fact that we've made tremendous progress over the last 5+ years. We've seen Retech kind of change our image in the market. There were definitely issues and problems. I think we've done that. And the fact that we see customers coming back to us with repeat orders, that indicates that we are delivering to our customers, meeting their needs and satisfying them. And I always say, if you go above and beyond the customer's expectations, everything else takes care of itself. And I think that's kind of where I'd like to leave it. I think we've made great progress, and I see good things in our future as well.
Super. Peter, how about you?
So personally, I like the fact that every day is different and every customer is different. So one day I talk to the heat treater, he needs a furnace to heat treat nuts and bolts. Next day, we help to develop new powertrain for a helicopter, or we help, to set up a reactor for new fusion energy. That's I don't think there's any other industry or anything else than heat treating that you can actually touch a number of different industries, and that's what I personally like and what drives me every day.
Yeah, that variety is nice, I must say. That's good. Thank you so much. That was great. You did wonderful. We will put up on the screen probably contact information for each of your companies and things of that sort, but really appreciate the time you spent with us here today. So thanks very much.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed listening to today's episode with SECO WARWICK Group North American Company's Managing Directors, Earl Good, Marcus Lord, and Peter Zawistowski. Give Heat Treat Radio a 5-star review or a like on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Podbean, or the website www.heattreattoday.com/radio. If you'd like to learn more about the three companies, head over to their websites, www.secowarwick.com, www.secovacusa.com, and www.retechsystemsllc.com. Do you have a new or interesting idea that you want to hear discussed on Heat Treat Radio? If so, let me know. Also, if you'd like to sponsor a future episode, let me know at bethany@heattreattoday.com. Heat Treat Radio would like to thank SECO WARWICK Group for sponsoring this episode. Get the best technology for your thermal processing applications when you go to www.secowarwick.com. This and every other episode of Heat Treat Radio is the sole property of Heat Treat Today and may not be reproduced in part or in whole without advance written permission from Heat Treat Today. And I'm Bethany Leone. Thank you for listening.